Okay, we're out at the home of Mr. and Mrs. Knight, looking at doing some siding work for them. The siding they have on there now is original. They have painted, and actually, believe it or not, they've had to repair about every 7 to 8 years. So definitely, great candidates for the Hardie. Going with something that's maintenance-free and is really going to give them the longevity, and kind of get rid of that frustration of every 7 to 8 years having to do repairs and painting on the house. So great candidates, a lot of potential to make a big impact on how much time they have to spend working on the house. So here's a side here. It's a Ray Ellison home, so we got a lot of siding. You can see here the chimney's in bad shape. Basically, we're tearing everything off. We'll resheathe the wall with the 7/16" OSB. Come back on the top of that with our Tyvek. We'll do the seam tape, all the flashing. C-channel flashing is going to be real important here because we basically have sidewall that dies into the foundation line all the way around the house. So that's going to be an important part of our process and the best practice standards to make sure that we don't have any water infiltration creeping up behind the Hardie. Looking at a soffit, doing soffit. It's about 1.25 foot soffit. We have a 1/2 inch fascia, so we'll do a fascia replacement with a drip edge replacement. There is no metal drip except for on a patio cover in the back, so everywhere else is just basically tearing off, installing the Hardie fascia, and then doing a 1x2 drip Hardie. I have a couple of gable vents, so those will be treated like a window. We talked with the Mr. Knight. We talked about the trim and how we do that, how we cut our corners to prevent against any kind of water infiltration. They had some windows installed by Home Depot. They have all this aluminum coil stock around the windows, so that'll come off as well as the 1x4 trim. And we'll do a nice, neat Hardie trim with a head flashing and really make that a little cleaner than what it is now. All windows, doors, 2 gable vents will be wrapped in Hardie 1x4. We have a little bit of porch ceiling here, about 5x5 area of porch ceiling. We'll look at probably doing that the same. We have this soffit kind of outlining that porch, so we'll probably want to keep the porch ceiling since it's not much area. Keep that in a Hardie porch. I shouldn't say keep that. Install a Hardie porch ceiling just so that's continuous with the soffit that we're going to have right next to it. We can wrap this porch column here in Hardie plank just so there'll never have to be any maintenance or repair work done on that. You can see some of the holes in the chimney. Chimney's in pretty rough shape. All the capping and everything up there on top that's wood now will now become Hardie plank. We'll still have depth, but we won't have as much depth as we see there because we don't have a 2x material in the Hardie. So we'll still have some trim out look. Some depth in the wood, but it will not be. It'll be a 3/4 inch instead of a 2x. Again, same thing on all the windows are trimmed in the 1x4 with an aluminum coil stock. And we'll get rid of that and clean that up a bit. So coming around to the front here, you can see here it looks like probably just from repairs. We have this nice gable here, got the 4 outriggers. We'll look at, the sun is brutal, look at probably wrapping those posts. We talked about that, but wrapping those nice with the Hardie plank and really creating something that they're not going to have to maintain. Right now we got a stucco board and batten on this portion of the gable. I don't even know if you're going to be able to see this in the video. The sun's really bright. And then under here we have like a vertical. So we need to kind of go to something more consistent. We have the rock that gives us kind of enough dimension and enough design on the front, where I think above in these gables we need to go with the same material, whether it's a board and batten, a shingle, something, but something that's consistent, not different. We got a little apron here over the garage. Garage door frames in pretty rough shape here. Both sides. Pretty rotten, so that needs to be cut out. Replace with lumber, and then we'll retrim that in a Hardie plank. Have some rot right there you can see, so it's for the age, they've been in the home 30 years. For the age of the home, it's important that we do a tear off, fully inspect any of the wall cavity, make sure that there's no rot that's happened over the course of the last 30 years. And same thing on this side. Again, you can see the repair work that's been done. C-channel flashing is important. No major issues with the fascia and drip edge. Not that it would be much of a concern anyways, because we're doing a replacement. So, but we really got one window. We got a little bay over here. We got one window and one gable vent, and that's about it. We got our AC unit. We'll side behind any of the conduit there. We'll retrim out these little vents in Hardie plank, so that won't rot. Here's your one window here. All corner trim, all interior corner trim. Exterior will all be one. Will all be 1x4, 1x2 Hardie plank. Back here we have 6 posts. They're weathered. A couple of them are twisted. The third one, from where I'm at right now, is a little bit twisted, but other than that, they're in good shape to cover. The little header up there will wrap in Hardie plank too, and it'll really change the look of the back porch here. Just from an aesthetic and maintenance perspective, really a significant upgrade to what we can see now with kind of the gusset plates and everything kind of sticking out. That'll all be covered, and it'll be all nice, clean Hardie plank. Back in the back here, just got an 8-foot wall, pretty simple. We got another bump out here. So nothing really extraordinary going on there. All corner trim, all window trim again, all interior corner trim that we see right here will all become Hardie plank. This is a Pellador, again, Home Depot. It's like an integrated trim system. Again, it's a coil stock, but it is part of the door. So what we're probably going to have to do is, side up to that, seal our siding up to the coil stock on the door, as opposed to taking off any kind of that trim around there. Looks like nice doors though. We got a GFI, we got a hose bib right back there. Those will all have the little J boxes. We're looking at 2 options on the porch ceiling. One, we're going to possibly look at just painting it. It is an OSB, and I know we talked about that not giving the ultimate paint finish, but it's a huge porch. It's about 42 feet by I think it's about 7. So a huge porch area, not overly exposed, not in bad condition. So we'll look at the option of doing a Hardie plank or just kind of painting what we have with the expectation that it is a rough OSB board, so it's not going to have a finish like a smooth board after we paint it. Again, here we got some electrical. All these will be pulled away from the wall. We spoke about that. Pulled away from the wall, sided behind, and then reattached. These wires that are hanging down are dead, so those can come off the wall and be disposed of. So that's pretty much our scope of work and what we're looking at. Again, fascia replacement, 1x2 drip edge Hardie replacement, and then looking at a soffit replacement with the Hardie soffit. Mr. and Mrs. Knight, we appreciate you having us out and having us take a look at the project, and we look forward to working with you. Thanks so much.